Restream channels. Do 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 do. All right. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting motivated, but this is the problem I have every time is I end up getting demotivated because there's just so much to do and I don't want to frustrate people. So it's like, you know, but we kind of do have to look at it. So if I'm coming at this, the entry point is going to be the boost page. So let's go back there. Go to the beginner boost page. Go to the discussion groups. Seeking jobs, discussions, seeking tech jobs, getting tech jobs. Do 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 do. Looks like we had a bunch of people sign up, say hi. Oh, this is great. Thanks for the info to help Misha. For making your DevOps career. Hello everyone. UK-based 22-year-old university graduate here to focus my skills and effort to start climbing a career ladder. Yes. Hello everyone. Happy to hear from Kenya. Love that. Well, from beginners to 2022. I'm excited to be here again. Look forward to learning more. I've known about Linux for a couple decades. Started in IT since the DOS days. Nice. Idea. Interested idea of having GitHub as a forum. Interesting idea. What if that means good or bad? But hello there. Let's see. Infrastructure and cloud data work. Robert's been in the midst of day-to-day workflow. Chrome with Term Accenture got nudged into having my own home lab with mini picks. Nice. Either from Spain, analog design engineer. There's stuff other from years from my note-taking system. Which is something I cannot live without right now. To using Bash. Analog design integrating get into ASCII ASIC design flows. And this moves will make you look like a Jedi. As those many comes to supply to disciplines. Hi everyone, Gabe from Serbia. Odin Project Foundation course. And learn about Woodville. Good luck. Yeah, the Odin Project is good. I'm Ukrainian born US and Mexico. I'm investing in the stock market with Fireway. What the hell? I'm with investing in the stock market, the Fireway. I don't know what that means. So, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe a little later. Middle of some house things right now. Well, yeah, you don't need to do it right away. I mean, there's no rush on any of that. Yep. I'm gonna go back and clean up the landing page. Just enjoy some good music. Dive into the content, starting with the overview. So this is the entry point, is the overview. And it's not linked to anything. So I want to make this link to other things. I don't know how detailed to get on this. We need to write the skill stack method down, which I started, but I stopped. Did I get that committed? I don't think I did. Oi, oi, cop, cop. It's different from a skill stack. This is just an outline. This is not meant to be like have all the videos on it. I will make videos that link to it. I have some already made. Catch up with the mod. Yeah. Bellum, can you check my YouTube and see if the stream is fine? Uh, hey, how? Specifically, Hi, Say, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Okay, I hope this works. I'm doing it differently. I'm gonna do, rather than have it be a huge outline, I'm gonna have each individual one and then have it link into the other thing so it can show on the screen in an easier way to read. We have a lot to cover. Sound is off, yeah. I can still talk. Hi. I don't always see the chat right away. Do you have questions? I don't have music in the background because I want you to be able to do your own, and I'm listening to my music. How you doing, Andy? You know typing? I actually kind of like typing too. I do. I have moments like where I really want to just type, just to type whatever. Like a good keyboard. I don't like mechanical keyboards, but I give you carpal tunnel. You're bored, honestly. Oh, well, being it's Sunday, I'm kind of bored too. Boredom is usually a symptom of something bigger. Usually a lack of self-awareness. I'm talking to myself here too. Like, what do you really want to be, Rob? Like, what kind of mark do I want to leave on the world? Do I want to leave any mark on the world? Am I just letting the ego take control of me? And should I be listening to, more Zen Buddhism about there is no self. You're not really there, It's it's a pretty interesting dilemma because on the one hand, you have these highly mystical people, the Alan Wattses in the world, who are telling you that you don't matter, that you don't exist, that your ego death, you want to kill that ego. And on the other hand, you have the ego that provides happiness and bliss through, accomplishment and identity. And so it's really about keeping the ego in check and having the ego be your friend as opposed to your enemy. I I've stopped listening to anything from Alan Watts. I think he's a fucking crackpot. And because he's all these gurus who spew all this shit about not having an ego and everything, who have multiple books and they're interviewing all over the place, and then they'll tell you that they're big fat hypocrites because they're doing it, but that somebody has to do it. That's what they'll say. And so I'm just done with all that. I'm more of a if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad kind of guy. And then you have the opposite Andrew Tate, right? Yeah. And it's all about the ego and them bitches and all that, right? So it it's tough. And then there's tons of religions that'll tell you exactly what to think and how, and then they make it really easy. It's like follow these 4 steps and follow these 10 commandments, and you'll go to heaven and be happy. No, the truth is the journey to discover who you are and why you're here and what makes you happy is your own journey. And everybody's journey is going to be radically different. But I tell you what, you have to take the journey, you have to embark on the journey yourself, and you have to decide to embark on the journey. If you don't, you can pass through all of life completely numb and never really knowing who you are and doing what you're told and surviving. And a lot of people are in survival mode. They don't have the opportunity to shoot for the higher end of Maslow's trying whatever needs hierarchy of needs. They can't. They have to survive. But for those of us who are lucky enough to have food and water and we can actually try to figure out what it is that we want to do. Uh, but there's always going to be a job or something that you have to do to pay the bills now. So it's just the way it is. He lives a life that other people wish for. That's why he has a following. He lives, unfortunately, a lot of people wish for a life that would not bring them happiness. First of all, I'm not going to bag on just him. Most of the influencers are not living what they're talking about. It's all a show. It's a total show. And I I personally have strived beyond everything else to be brutally honest to with all the people that watch and everything because too much so, right? I've been so personal. Somebody asked earlier, some people know about my life. They know about the trials and the tribulations and the successes and the loss of my teeth. And um, honestly, I feel like we need more of that in the universe. This is why I hope that more and more of you will choose to share something about your life and your struggle and your move in tech or whatever with others because it's one way that we can actually change the world. It doesn't have to be through streaming. It can be just, by making a friend on the street or something, or making a friend at a club or a pub or something. It's more of a persona, yeah. You're Dutch, you're brutally honest. That is so true. Everybody I know who's Dutch, they're totally brutally honest, yeah. Are you honest with yourself though? That's the harder part, right? I think the biggest challenge for me, and I still struggle with this, is to be honest with myself and to overcome the expectations and scripts and programming that have been jammed down my psyche since I was 2 years old. And I suspect that most of us struggle with this. Our upbringing, whether we struggled in a crack house or we struggled in a Catholic house, I feel like a lot of life's purpose is to get over the stuff that we've been told and programmed to do and to actually discover, peel back the layers of who we actually are and what makes us happy, truly happy. And that's the bliss that Joseph Campbell talks about. Uh, you're meant to have tact. Yeah. Sometimes you need to have tact. How you communicate, for sure. I mean, there's like interpersonal skills and then there's honesty, how you deliver that honesty, to others. This is really not about your relationship to others, other than getting rid of the expectations others have put on you and being brutally honest with yourself. You can tell yourself any shit you want to because but you need to be able to listen to it. I mean, and it's hard. All of this, by the way, it is Sunday, so I am hard programmed to like think about, to be introspective and all of that and somewhat spiritual on a Sunday. That's just how I'm programmed. So I'm actually listening to my yoga chill music, which I would love to put on the screen for y'all, but I've decided I'm not going to do that. You can go follow my playlists on my link tree, Art of X Rob, and then go click on yoga chill on my playlist if you want. If you want to listen to the same music I'm listening to, it's kind of fun. People are more interested in the brutal than the honest. Yeah, I agree with that, 100%. I've met people like that. They excuse their honesty and their being an asshole with, "Oh, I'm just being honest." And that doesn't mean you need to be mean. Boy, do I need to hear that, you know? So, what do you like to do? Not does what do your parents tell you like you do? Your parents say you're supposed to be a football star. Your parents say you're supposed to be a programmer. Your parents say you're supposed to become a data scientist. I once had a parent, I'm not even kidding. I once had a parent ask if I had anything for people 4 years old. And I was like, no, I don't. She's like, well, I want to get him started in data science early. You would know the type of parent if you saw him. You would know him. He was a real big geek. And there are people. I mean, it's whatever. You're supposed to do what your father does, right? What do you mean you don't want to be in the family business? Uh, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Here's a really hard one that I'm going through. I don't mind sharing this, okay? My family lives near me. I moved to Utah partially to be near. Can you believe that? 4 years old. Um, I moved to Utah primarily to support my kids who are now moving away. One already has. And the secondary reason was to be close to my extended family. Uh, and they are, 90 minutes away in Salt Lake City. And I struggle because how are you honest with yourself about what you really want to do that makes you happy and what you feel like you must do out of obligation? This is a very, very tricky situation for everybody. And it directly impacts your career decisions, your relationships, your career decisions. There's actually, for those of you who know Love Actually, there's a really good plot line in Love Actually, a subplot about this office romance that is brooding that everybody wants to happen and is squelched. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. It's squelched by the fact that the woman has a very, very special needs brother who she has been tending to her whole life, even though he is in an institution. So he's constantly calling, and she goes to see him, and the orderly has to call him off because he wants to hit her for no reason. It's really sad, actually. But it's just absolutely heartbreaking scene when she can't be with the man of her dreams that she's been pining over her entire life because she has to choose the love of her brother above the personal love and her own happiness with this man from the office, who is a totally good guy. And he realizes it too. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. I think it's probably one of the most difficult scenes ever with regard to relationships I've ever seen. Because the show is about love in all forms, including, random sexual love. There's a really comical line, a couple of them, when the Hobbit is a porn star stand-in. It's really funny. Uh, but this really heartbreaking one is when you have to pit love, romantic love, against love of family, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Why does her brother need her? Well, that's a good question because her brother is constantly calling. In fact, in the scene, she's about to have sex with this guy, and finally, and she's, cleaning her room up and everything, and she's all excited because she hasn't really given any attention to her romantic life at all. And she actually gets nudged in the right direction by the guy in the office. Is like, everybody can see it. You guys should just get together. Come on, wait. And uh, what? A nipple blur? I don't know what it is. Wait, when did you see a nipple? What are you talking about? You're worrying me. Oh, in the show. Anyway, so she's actually about to, get with this guy, and the guy and her brother calls her. Her brother is constantly calling her. And her brother calls her and she says, "Are you busy?" And the guy on the other end says, "Are you busy?" And she says, "No, no, I'm not busy." And the guy who's sitting there in his underwear on the side of the bed just has his heart ripped out. He just has his heart ripped out because he realizes in that moment that this woman is always going to put her brother first, always. And they have kind of this melancholy moment, and then he leaves. And they see each other at the office after that and everything, and they smile at each other, and it's kind of like they always realize what could have been, right? But they just don't pursue it because of that, and it does make you wonder, you know, what this has been a big part of my life, and it actually impacts your career, and that's why I am bringing it up, because it is a very, very personal issue, but it directly affects your career and your choices in a job. Um, you know, in my case, uh, it's extremely personal. I don't know if I should talk about this part, but let's just make more generally. I'll say he was disabled. Yeah, he was super disabled. He was mentally ill. So I have raised, well, until I got divorced, I raised an autistic child, and I partially raised a stepchild who was autistic, who I ultimately totally, totally failed, uh, just for lots of reasons I don't want to get into. But uh, it was mostly that I wasn't able to be there for them because I was weighing my time with that person with the time with my own children who were also not getting attention. And all of that affected my job. All of it. All of it affected my ability to perform on the job. It affected my choice of job. Uh, and so, I mean, it's bad enough having a work environment that has people and drama, which should be, a thing. Like, how well can let's see, I cannot deal with office politics. So there are lots of jobs that don't have office politics, right? Um, and I once had a teacher who was helping me get into education say to me, uh, if you want to help us, help the parents, because the teachers are struggling because it's so messed up at home that the kids are not in a place where they can learn. And so they come to school and they spend a lot of time and energy creating a nurturing environment where the kids can actually learn. And we have a person in the chat who's in elementary education. Uh, all the extremes, right? People who come in with bruises, people who don't eat. That's why in America we serve breakfast to kids, because kids, there's so many. I could really, really do a diatribe about that entire thing, because number one, we're sending kids so ridiculously early to school so that they can do activities after school that do not matter, and we pay for it. Oh, look at that. So, and a lot of these families don't have food. They can't make. A lot of these parents, they have to go. Some of them have to go to work, and they have to send their kids off. And so, remote work. I had a lot of people, friends and family, recently got told they had to go back to work, and they had built their entire life around working remotely. In one case specifically, they had a very special needs kid at home, and they couldn't deal with it. So they were super worried. They didn't have the money for daycare, for starters. They needed to be there with their child, to support that child. It was a very special needs child. What do you do with that? You still have to make money because, families are extremely impoverished and medical care is not supported. Yeah. Yep. They don't give food, medical care. Yeah, this gets into the whole Mabs needs thing. If you don't have basic shelter and food, you can't do anything else. You can't learn anything. You can't get into a career. However, there's a couple of really substantial stories. So Beck was homeless when he wrote his first songs. In fact, his mutated with a junkie. You got a maggot on your sleeve. those lines are coming straight from his life. He actually was homeless when he wrote that song. So I have a big affinity in my heart. If I were to answer these questions for myself, I really, really love helping the homeless. It's just a part of me, and I really want to do it more. In fact, when we move, one of the reasons I'm super excited about moving to Mooresville again is rather than just, helping people who can pay for a yoga class as a yoga instructor, which is also good, I can actually help people who are missing limbs and can't make the rent. And I did that. I did that for years. Now, this is not, a spiritual flex. This is what makes me happy. And ultimately, I believe the goal of life is to find what makes you happy and help other people find what makes them happy. That's it. You don't need anything else. That's it. What makes you happy? And I don't like the Buddhist idea of reducing suffering. Let's not let's not talk about the glasses half full or half empty. Let's talk about happiness versus suffering. Let's talk about making people happy, bringing them happiness. And what does it take? That includes all the basics and everything, and yourself. So, and for me, that's a pretty no-brainer. Now, this, when I listen to that, I've had people that I love in my life who were very critical with me tell me that that desire is fake inside of me. I've had somebody that I very much loved at the time tell me that I was still being scripted by the Mormons. And, I still challenge myself on that. And is the reason I'm so hell-bent on helping other people because I was raised Mormon? Or is it because I was already that person and then Mormons just kind of brought it out of me? This is where I'm conflicted about religion in general because I do think a lot of things that influence us when we're young for the good, if we make it through it without getting abused by a priest or something, then they can be good things that, I owe a lot to this case, the Mormon Church, because it did give me a lot. It gave me music in my life. It gave me the ability to sing. I started singing from an early age. I had an intense love for humanity, and this like unfailing optimism and almost naivete about everyone. To this day, I still have that, and I get royally owned by people of the world all the time. That's why my book is about that. I'm writing a book about that. Uh, how do you remain unspotted from the world and still be an active participant in all parts of the world? So it's tough. I feel guilty being happy when there's so many people around. I know, right? That is the artist dilemma. So artists. So this is a long. I was married to an artist, and I've been studying art forever. I used to run tours through the Hermitage Museum. Art has been a big part of my life since the beginning, even though I'm not particularly an artist, other than writing, I guess. And it's a pretty big question, right? Like, do what do you do with that? Artists and writers are journalists in particular, photojournalists, taking pictures of naked girls about to die in Vietnam or Saigon or wherever that was, who have had their clothes burned off their bodies. Right now, it's really hard to stay positive. There's a lot of negative in the world. Are you being a bad person, being happy in a time of absolute desolation and death? It's a major, major philosophical question. And you have to come to terms with these sorts of things before you can ever pursue a job, other than the minimum job to pay your rent. Because, I mean, you know, I just to give a personal example, I know artists who think the most important thing in the world is to fill it with art. That's their priority. It's not up to me to question their priority. But to me, that priority seems weird because to me, I mean, the priority to bring art into the world is indirectly to bring happiness into the world, whether it's through awareness, which leads to a better life for everybody, or just because the art is fun, like superhero movies or something. Uh, but one of the most poignant moments of self-realization for me was when I was in a gallery at a show, live streaming it, and everybody there was ultra wealthy. And these pieces of art were selling for $3,000, $5,000, $6,000. And the place I was surrounded by homeless people. In fact, I had to put fences up because people were defecating on the stairs. One time, one of the homeless people came in and started punching people. And I couldn't take it anymore, so I just went walking up and down the streets of Tryon, and I ran into Kevin, a homeless guy who had written a poem. And it was amazing. You can go see the clip. It's in my shorts in YouTube. Uh, and that day, I realized a lot about myself. I realized that I could not be, I'm echoing the point someone made in the chat. I could not be happy knowing that this was happening while I could not be in there sipping down, $50 glass champagne, contemplating the brushstrokes on this particular piece. Oh, look at how beautiful this is, dressed up and doing, art cosplay. And know that pain and suffering was literally right outside of my door, like literally outside the door. And I personally could not stomach it anymore. The hypocrisy of it was too much for me to bear. Now, all the people that were in there enjoying art are not bad people. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying this idea of knowing yourself so that you can move into a tech career or whatever your life is going to do next fundamentally depends on your ability to withstand these contradictions. And there are the people who are so sensitive to the suffering of the world that they deliberately, I have a friend who does this, they deliberately went into the medical career despite any reservations they had because they want to do above everything else, they want to help people reduce their pain, help them live, literally reduce the suffering. And some of them are so possessed by this idea that they will spend their entire lives. And I know of one case, a single guy who ended up raising his family because his wife decided after they had already been married and had kids that was the only thing she wanted to do. It was the only thing that mattered to her. That raising children, even to her, felt shallow compared to literally saving the lives of as many people as she could. And the point of this is, where is your line? Some people are perfectly fine making everybody happy by playing their favorite video game and getting everybody to talk and socialize that may not have an opportunity to do that at all. On the outside, to somebody like one of these doctors who's sacrificing their entire life to keep people alive, that looks incredibly shallow to them. But it's not about that. It's about what makes you happy, truly happy, without any sort of, what is your tolerance for the disagreement? And this is what causes people to be elementary school teachers, even though they're so intelligent, or high school teachers. I remember my calculus teacher in high school, and he was a supremely gifted, intelligent person. He could have done anything. He could have done anything we wanted to, and he chose to teach high school and coach soccer, referee soccer actually, and because he was obsessed with football, European football, soccer, And his career path, that's what made him happy, and so he chose to do it. Another teacher I had, Blaine Polson, influenced me for the rest of my life, was a cop, a former cop who had been injured in the line of duty, walked with a limp. He became a sixth grade elementary teacher, and he set up mock court systems, judicial systems inside of the elementary school without ever needing to do it. He was given all kinds of awards for this, but he didn't do it for that. He did it because he wanted to do it. He wanted to help people understand due process. God, he would be turning over in his grave right now. Swear to God, the guy was salt. It was so amazing. He was. That's why every time people start talking shit about cops, I always remember him because I'm like, look, stop throwing all the cops in the same bucket. There are definitely dirty cops, a lot of them, but there are people who have. I mean, this guy became a family friend uh, because he was just so amazing, and he was doing what he was led to do. He was called to do that, and he found his calling indirectly. He's the kind of cop who would, spend so much time. It should almost give him counseling, social counseling degrees, because he would spend a lot of time probably helping people. I don't know. I was young, but I've had 3 opportunities to be directly involved with the police in the last 2 months, for reasons I won't get into that don't relate to me, family members, and it's been really interesting. But the point is that some of these cops are sort of mean and they don't do the right thing and throw people in jail without asking questions. Others are basically family counselors, and they're there. And I've seen all of that in the course of 60 days or so. Uh, and honestly, if some people, if they're brutally honest and they answer the question, they like beating the shit out of people. That's what makes them happy. Somebody has to play the bad guy. I don't think that there's good people and bad people. I think there's just people. So there's definitely people. Okay, this gets really weird. This is not something I'd ever talk about officially, but you know, yeah. So the problem with this is if you are truly honest with yourself, I'm super fascinated by uh, cult mentality and uh, criminal psychology. Now, I don't watch all of the true crime stuff. I hate that stuff. But occasionally, I watched a documentary and they interviewed a sociopath on death row who'd killed like 20 people brutally, and but really bad, like not who enjoyed the process of killing. And that guy basically said straight to the camera in the interview, "You cannot let me out of here." With a very straight face and being completely calm, he was completely self-aware. That's where I'm going with this. And he was so self-aware that he knew that he would do it again, that he would brutally murder a person and enjoy the entire act of it. And but he knew that about himself. And you could say that about any number of bad guys, bad people out there. If they were truly self-aware, they would own the fact that they are accountable, or that they. And that's the brutal truth of all of this, is that you might discover, and I hope nobody walks away from this thinking it's okay to be accountable. You might discover in the process of coming to understand who you are that that person is not necessarily who you think. In order to, you know, the thing of it is it's like knowing who you are and what you're good at and what you're. I mean, there's one guy. Maybe you're really good at killing people. Maybe you need to be in the military. Maybe you need to be a paramilitary, special ops person who specializes in assassination. Maybe you're John Wick. John Wick was very self-aware, fictionally, right? So, but I think you still have to deal with the the expectations and the laws of society. Uh, and that's why I use that story about the psycho killer, because he knew that his natural true self was not ready for this world. And I mean, and would never be. It was not acceptable. And therefore, to make other people happy, he said, please lock me away. So his realization was, if the goal of life is to be happy and make other people happy, uh, I can't be truly happy killing people. So because I have I have a problem. So I acknowledge that I have a problem. I'm going to make other people happy by wanting to keep myself in jail or to die, frankly. So wildly different opinions due to some siding with a dictator and someone who hasn't. Yeah, this entire thing that's going on in pop culture right now and in politics is a perfect example of this. It's not new though. I mean, God, there's one brutal truth. It's that evil people who chase power and blood and popularity will always be there. It's like the one universal truth. And they will always rise to power when people who are fulfilled in other ways are looking the other way, like me right now. So, at what time do I stop helping people learn how to change their stars and become a technologist? And I pick up a gun and I go to war against the dictator. I'm not suggesting to do that. But at what point, right? I mean, that question was an actual question during the Civil War. It was a question for many people during the Civil Rights Movement. It's been a question since the American Revolution. You know, depending on whose side you're on, the French Revolution, Russian Revolution. There's this is just a part of being human. So I don't know the answer. I really don't. But if your goal is to bring about the most happiness for others, then you know bombing a random submarine for the hell of it because you just don't like them and you want to distract, that's not good. There's a lot of people who are going to see this and they're going to say I have Trump's whatever they made up. They made up a mental disease for the person who's actually telling you the truth. And this has been all throughout history. That's why I love V for Vendetta so much. It's why I love, Animal Farm. It's why I love Russian literature. It's what I've studied. It's just being repeated. Yeah, derangement syndrome is this idea that you're so crazy, all you can do is say bad things about about this person, and that's ridiculous. All you have to do is look at the facts. Like, whose facts are you looking at? I'm looking at video of what is happening. I'm looking at video of a police officer being crushed to death. This is why journalism is so important to me. Journalism tells the true story by simply sticking a camera on what's happening. That's it. Let's stay out of politics. Yep. But there are a lot of people. This is something I've learned is that a lot of people that watch YouTube and Twitch are conservative leaning, and I've actually struggled with that because worst thing I want to do is create the next cybersecurity expert who's going to use it to violate the privacy of people who disagree with the current administration. And, so it's actually the biggest regret I have giving up in-person mentoring because I can filter out who I want to help. I've had to remove people from my school before because they became Sith Lords. I had one guy just go off the rails, man. He just became such a narcissist. And he was lying online about stuff and he was stealing other people's work in the classes and thing. It was so bad. I was like, I do not want to enable this guy anymore. And I had the option of doing that. Public school teachers don't have that option. They got to teach everybody. So, yeah. let's stick with this. So understanding yourself, knowing who you are, what you want to be, what you're going to do. Uh, and by the way, I'm not anti-Trump supporter. I'm anti-dictator. I'm anti, no due process. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people. It doesn't matter who's there saying it. So I don't, don't. I'm not just hating on this person. I've criticized other leaders as well. Obama in particular on the whole Flint, Michigan water crisis. It was a complete mess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People, uh, I have a big problem with people who support uh, somebody who is so morally bankrupt. I mean, like at every level. So, but it is what it is. You do what you want. What I've found is that the people who have voted for this president, uh, they usually do it for lots of reasons that don't. They're not saying they agree with the immorality and all of this stuff in this president. They're voting for this president because of what they perceive the president represents. And if you dig deep enough in people like this and you talk to them, you will find in them that you might end up agreeing with a lot of what they believe. But you can't get to that because you're so hung up on the fact that they even cast a vote for this person. And I, I'm one of those people. I have a problem with that too. Uh, and that goes both ways. Like how can you possibly vote for this and that and that? So, yeah, if you, the problem is some of those people, you peel back the layers and you realize they're raving racists and bigots who think women should still not have credit cards and stuff. Which is terrifying that actually people exist who still believe those things. And, you know, so anyway, it's results driven. Yeah, but what results? The fact that we want to kill each other everywhere, that every word that comes out of his mouth inflames the rhetoric between the two parties, that there's no desire whatsoever to work together. So yeah, let's not talk about politics. Let's avoid it. Uh, yeah. So this is not the first time we've had this. There were senators beating each other up with canes in the Senate in American politics in the past. So this is not even the worst yet. The question is, what do you want to do with it? Where do you want to take this? And that's really what it comes down to. Uh, yeah. So yeah, but the human brain is super capable of justifying bad decisions rather than taking responsibility. And I'm talking about myself as well as everyone else. We are radically, cognitive dissonance is a thing. We are radically capable of protecting our psyches by giving us a story that we can survive with. And this is how cults are formed. This is why I'm so interested in cult mentality, because it's just the nature of our brains. So it makes it almost impossible to have a dialogue about anything. Uh, anyway, if you struggle with what you learn, I hate working with kids who cannot deal with office politics. Let's see. Get a journal, perhaps go for a walk, really think about what you're buying. Okay, so turn off the programming, the scripts, expectations for others have you running your head. It's about what's expected to be. It's about discovering who you actually are. The sooner you discover this, the sooner you get busy making anything. There is a problem with this, is that you still have to feed yourself, right? I actually kind of need to put this in here. Yeah, it's because he's a populist. But every time society wants to change, populist leaders come to power. You have the passive populist like Bernie Sanders, and then you have the aggressive populist who promises change with a brutal hand. Just look at history; it's been filled with this. That's all. It's nothing new. It's the same thing. It's the same old story all over again. Every time society or the world is unsatisfied, which is what it is, you have populist leaders rise. And all over the world, that's exactly what happened. And every time this happens, the tough guy almost always wins. The tough guy wins because the tough guy promises a better future and addresses the fears, real or imagined, of the population. And so, that's how it happens. That's how we've got every dictator and fascist leader since the dawn of time, including, and I studied deeply the Russian Revolution, same thing, French Revolution, same thing. Every single time it's the same thing. And this is why it's completely irrational to people from the outside looking in. They don't understand what's going on mentally. But usually the population is not in a position to truly evaluate everything that's going on. They just want their condition to change. And that's why human needs is a thing. Like, if you're not able to make ends meet, if you're suffering, the first thing you do is you blame somebody that's not you. It happens every time. And it's like, oh, the education system sucks ass. Oh, it's those bad police. Oh, it's this. I I'm a specific case where I'm watching people on Facebook, rather than rally together and organize a campaign to raise money, to get a lawyer, and to do all the things necessary to help a beloved one, they spend hours and hours and hours ranting on Facebook about how this all sucks and fighting with people on Facebook about it. Because they would rather do that than do the hard work, which is needed, which is, what do we really need to do here? What's the next step? Let's turn the panic off. Let's really look at this and see how we can fix this problem. And in that case, it was raising the money for a lawyer, identifying a good lawyer, spending the time to make sure you don't get conned out of $3,000 from a bad bail bondsman, and doing the actual work calmly. And soldiers know this. Military people, they already know this. If they panic, they're screwed. But the mass population is ready to fire up the mob at any moment because they haven't been trained to think that way. And I've been a member of the mob myself on occasion because we're angry, we're hurting, we can't feed our kids, we don't know where we're going to get a job, and it's very painful to look at ourselves and go, "Did my life choices bring me to this place?" Oh, look, I have cancer, I have diabetes, I have made poor health decisions my entire life. Oh, why are you fat shaming? Why are you why are you telling me that I need to go exercise? Why are you? No, that's not it. Because nobody wants to, and I'm cherry picking, but nobody wants to do the work. They don't. They don't want to do the work. The natural human tendency is to find an excuse, and we all do it. We all do it. I totally do it. Uh, he, I have rights. Well, I'm a white 50 something man. So yeah, I got rights in this economy, in this world. There are a lot of people that don't. And that's probably a tough topic for you to bring up with me, because I have somebody that I deeply love who was thrown into jail without due process and is still there right now. So, you know, you gotta be careful with me on this one. Rather than do due process and even read him his rights, they threw him in jail, and he's still there. He's been there for 2 weeks. They took him away from his kids. That is not a society that that observes the rule of law. That's all I'm saying. No, this is just a regular cop. Uh, they're. I don't want to build a fight here, okay? But uh, I think let's stick with what we agree on. We agree that everybody should have equal rights. That's what we agree, right? Even saying those words in that way is associated with the progressive agenda, right? Some cops suck, but right. So that suck at their job. Cops suck at their job. Yeah, some people leave, you know, clamps inside people's chests, have them cut them out later. Yeah. Well, I would suggest that sometimes there's just bad cops. I would suggest that in this case, sometimes there's bad presidents. Bombing a sovereign nation for no reason at all is not a good president. The end. If I knew nothing more about this president than that they just chose to bomb Iran for no fucking reason and kill Americans to do it, that's all I need. That's all I need to know, that our current president is a bad cop. And what do you do when people don't do their job? You get rid of them. Okay? So, and by the way, that goes for Bush or Clinton to a degree. I mean, all the stuff they did in South America. Yeah, we're getting into politics. Yeah, they definitely bombed Iran for no reason. Yes, they did. Iran was not a clear and present threat to America. That is the only reason to go to war. Watch Patriot Games again. The only reason to go to war is if there is a clear and present threat to America. Period. And this does not qualify. Kuwait did not qualify. Noriega did not qualify. It's not your job to correct me. No, we need to live in a society where we can have open dialogue and disagree, and then have those disagreements represented in our government. We don't live in that situation right now, unfortunately. It's really too bad. Yeah. Yeah. And going past Congress, yeah. You're not supposed to bomb sovereign states without it going through Congress. That's in the Constitution. So, you know, the president's one job that they took an oath of office to do is to uphold the Constitution. This president has violated the Constitution multiple times, willfully and gleefully. And I don't care who the president is. If it had been another president, I don't care what their religious leanings or their greed or their pussy grabbing comes, I don't care. They violated the Constitution of the United States. And without the Constitution, we do not have a rule of law. And without rule of law, we can't have a forum where we can have a conversation about what it means to be American. And that is where I stand. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I believe in America. I just believe in the America where we actually had a say about what's going on, and people follow the rules and laws, and they enforce those things, and that's not happening right now. I mean, there's overwhelming evidence to that effect. They haven't followed that in other presidencies as well. So, you know, but yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And I'm not attacking individuals. I think you have the right to disagree with me. I think you have the right to, you know, do whatever you want. You can even, I honestly, I think you have the right to want to do whatever it makes to your pursuit of happiness, and to disagree wholeheartedly with me. But I don't agree that some people should have more ability to have a say than others in the process of deciding who gets to make these decisions. That's why we have Congress. That's why even with Congress, the thing that drives me absolutely crazy is the Congress is completely controlled by the party that would have approved it. But guess what? They didn't even want to run it past them. And now we have people in Congress in the same party are like, what the fuck? So, because the Constitution is being regularly violated. And when that starts to happen, now you got trouble, because, you know, how do you bring that back? I don't know. Ask Putin. Putin abolished the Constitution. I was there before that happened. So, a bloody revolution is unavoidable. It always is. Dark times are ahead. I agree. We have 3 years left, and as soon as more than half the country decided that this person is acting in their best interest, and that still at least 40% still agree with everything including the constitutional violations and bringing church into the Oval Office, which are fundamentally against America at its core. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I should probably stop talking now. I maybe should just like get ready, get out of here. All right. Uh, uh, you can hear my keyboard ASMR? Is A plus security notification expertise? You got to start looking for other ways. You got to reach out to people. How are you applying for jobs? Got the A plus for free, but I'm still not getting any replies from jobs. Expertise. I suspect that you're looking for jobs the wrong way. or to be fair, in a less effective way. Are you just through Indeed and LinkedIn? You'll never find a job that way. Go do the research. Go ask your AI. Do you have an AI? Are you using an AI? Please tell me you are. Ask an AI for help on this and say, what is the best way to get jobs? And they'll say LinkedIn and Indeed and stuff like that. But if you ask a person who actually has a job, they'll tell you most jobs, and this is not just me, Learn with Leon says the same thing. Most jobs happen by who you know. If you were, I'm kind of jumping ahead in the boost, but I really need to put this out there. People that are spending time blasting resumes to LinkedIn and Indeed are actually doing themselves a disservice, because potentially if one of those people comes across the resume, you could potentially have a contractual agreement with them to represent you at a job that you otherwise could have applied for in person. So while it's a good thing to look at LinkedIn and Indeed for job opportunities, it's a horrible thing to go through them to get those jobs, in my opinion. There are people, every time I say this, there's always someone who said, I got this job from LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, do you like it? Almost always it's like, meh, right? The best jobs are to be had by being referred from somebody who is doing the job. So every single second of your job search should be spent doing counterintuitive things to increase your connection with people who are doing the job you want. You can do research on the companies. So if you follow what I suggested today, you have to understand yourself first. Then you want to, what are the jobs that have those activities specifically? What are the names of those jobs that you can search for? What are the names of the companies? Top 5, write it down in a journal. Put those companies down, identify those companies, and then spend every second after that building opportunities to meet people in those jobs. Go to conferences, go to meetups, go to a Linux meetup, call the company, cold call the company. I did this, and I got a job from this, not at that company, but a different one. Cold call the company and say, hey, I am looking for jobs. I don't really necessarily want one here, but I'd love to talk to an engineer. Is there an engineer that you could patch me through who could maybe give me some counsel about what I need to learn? So all of your effort, all of it, should not be necessarily looking for job opportunities. That is a part of it. But most of your effort should be creating opportunities to meet people and befriend the people who are doing the job you want. That means potentially following a Twitch streamer or somebody else, a YouTuber who does that job or has a community of people who do the job, is a better use of your time than cold calling and sending resumes to random LinkedIn jobs. I got my current job from somebody I met through Twitch, who I met through networking. I was coding, I was writing code and stuff. And I said, by the way, if you ever want a job over here, I'm doing it. Another professional found me because of live streaming, and in my time of need, offered me a job like that. I did an interview, got the job. That's a true story. If you don't take anything away from what I'm telling you right now, take this away. Spend most of your time in your job hunt seeking people to meet. However you want to do that. Talk to relatives who are in the profession, corner them at Thanksgiving, get them to talk about what they do. People love that. Go to meetups, go to conventions, and for a lot of you, this is going to be really hard. And in addition to that, the most important person that you will ever meet is a recruiter. 2 of my jobs were from a recruiter. I had a friend at work. I told you about the Nike story earlier. I had a friend at work. They left. They went to work at another company. The recruiter, the person told their recruiter about me and that I might not be happy. Recruiter called me up. I ended up getting a job through that recruiter. That recruiter then represented me for the next 3 years and would call me every year and say, are you happy? I got this other opportunity over here. And a good recruiter will do that. LinkedIn is full of shitty recruiters. I know this from personal experience. the recruiters there are low-hanging fruit. Most of them can barely speak English, and this is my experience I'm sharing. So I suggest that you seek out recruiters that you can trust. And usually that means finding somebody who's doing the job you want. I have a recruiter, by the way, that I'll give you. I do. I have a recruiter who asks me all the time if I have people. And the recruiter's job is to be your agent. They are your agent, just like in Hollywood. They are constantly looking for jobs. They are helping you find, they are specialists in helping you discover your best self and sell that to a company. So they're constantly pumping you up. Uh, I, even though I had a great job at Nike, every year there was an annual career fair. There was a job fair and a career fair locally. And I would tell my manager about this. I'd say, look, I'm not looking for jobs. I'm going to go to this for the networking and to see what's out there, see what people are doing. And she goes, absolutely. So she gave me the day off. I put my suit on. I'd carry all my resumes with me, my little portfolio. And there's nothing better for your confidence than going to a job fair where every single booth is competing for your attention. They have no idea who you are. But they don't know if you're the next, Steve Jobs or if you're, just some guy off the street. They don't care. So they treat everybody equally. It's really wonderful. And they have tons of swag. So they have all these free stickers and free food, and they're all giving out cards, and they all want your card. And I've gone to job fairs and come home and got calls from 2 or 3 recruiters from the job fair because they said, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do this and this. Well, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to do this and this. And the people they have running those booths, which, by the way, is also a tech career. If you want to be one of the tech professionals who's not necessarily a hard skills engineer, you can be the person in the booth, particularly if you are gregarious and attractive. So, that's a really, really good job. The people at those job fairs who run those booths know what they're doing. And usually what they'll do is they'll have, depending on people, fly to the next job fair and help us find job fairs. In fact, I'm going to put a post right here. I'm going to make a discussion post. I'm going to make a post right here. New discussion. Get started. The title of this is job fairs. Like, let's see. Must attend job fairs and conferences. Thank you for the love, deep fire. That's where I got my first job. The lesser known companies, right? And a lot of them will have job fairs. The company I am working for now, I never, ever would have openly sought to work there. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for the follow. So most good jobs happen by being referred by someone already working someplace you might consider. It's who you know, not how many resumes you send into the oblivion. Veteran tech professionals. Therefore, your primary goal to get a job is build a network of friends, professional peers, and good recruiters who will regularly check in even after getting you a job to see if you are still happy, just like a Hollywood agent. And why not an agent? You're a superstar. The next up and coming thing. This thread, this discussion is the place to post the best places to network or look around. I'm really glad we're using GitHub discussions for this. This has been really good. I really liked it. It's really kind of working out for me. We've had participation already, but I encourage you to even do more. artmixrob/boost/discussions, or you can just click on discussions on the Boost repo. I'm the only one in there, so most good jobs happen by being referred by someone already working someplace you might consider. It's who you know, not how many resumes you send out into the oblivion. Into the void. That's what I meant. Most of the time, when someone says they can't get a job, they haven't lifted a finger to build a professional network and community. Veteran tech professionals know this. Therefore, your primary goal when getting a tech job is to meet people. Friends, professors, peers, streamers, recruiters who are checking up to get it just a reminder, Rob got his current very good job with great people or a company he never would have anticipated by randomly meeting someone on a Twitch live stream. I also met my last wife on Plenty of Fish, and she was amazing for the many years that I was married to her, most of them. So, going online and networking. One of the reasons that I am now sitting here on a Sunday night trying to avoid talking about politics and just shooting the shit is because I'm facilitating a forum for this communication so that somebody in the chat might actually help you. As long as you guys don't kill each other because your politics are different, you may find you have a lot in common. Maybe both of you work in cybersecurity. One of you voted for the current president, the other one didn't. Uh, maybe get over that. Maybe focus on the fact that you both, I don't know. So Kaiser, yes. How do you initiate conversations at an event? You just wander by you know what? If you guys find conferences for me, I will fly to them and show you what to do. I'll show you. I will make an IRL stream that shows you how to network. I've done it, and this is the thing, because there's a lot of people who don't like people, particularly technologists, and the kind that watches a Twitch stream, they're fucking terrified of people, right? Wink, wink. There's a few of you out there, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not that guy, by the way. SoCal Linux Expo just past weekend, right? The Linux expos are probably the best if you really want Linux kind of things. When I go back to North Carolina, I met some amazing people at the Southeast Linux Convention. There were not enough companies to consider that a job fair. I'm just going to put it out there. Conferences are less valuable than a job fair. Yeah, because that you want to talk, you want to interview. Your job when you're getting the job or deciding if you want the job is to be an investigative journalist. You got to get over your inhibitions. You got to talk to every possible person you've ever heard of who does what you think you want to do because you've already done the work to understand what you want to do every day. I did that for cybersecurity. I ended up discovering I didn't want to work in cybersecurity. And I did that here. And the owner of a cybersecurity company came into my stream and corrected me and said, this job is 52% Microsoft Word docs, writing up reports. And this goes with my strong recommendation that you get over your inhibition. If you look at my early streams, I wouldn't even put my face on the screen. I would just type, and they would see what I was doing. I would try to learn. Eddie Askey started streaming security stuff. She doesn't stream anymore because she's so busy in her system administration job now. I really miss her, by the way. If she comes online, you guys got to let me know. I haven't seen her in a long time. The first time I saw her, she was totally stoned, like trying to go through Hack the Box. It was so funny. It was so hilarious. She's like, okay, what's this? Okay, no, just a recommendation. Don't get stoned and try to do technical things. You can't hack and be stoned. They don't go together. Adderall and getting stoned. Anyway, it was so funny. So, yeah. So, hey, Quartz, post the SoCal Linux Expo. Put that in here. Can you go in there and post that, please? Somebody? I'm going to post it right now. I'm sorry. I have a really big problem. No, I don't mean that. And the fact that you think the next big thing in tech is somebody like Linus Tech Tips, which is nobody. Linus Tech Tips is nobody. He does not matter. This is kind of confusing. So many people have been so wrongly influenced by the internet. And I don't know what else to say without it sounding negative. Linus Tech Tips is an influencer, a grifter, and a YouTuber. He has nothing to do with actual work. The end. You're pointing around in person. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm but you know what? You're right. You're right. It's not clear what I said there. So let's figure that out. Okay. Thank you for posting these. Let me finish this post. So Southeast Linux Fest. Let me find that one. Southeast. I'm sorry if I sounded too critical. I have history with him. That's why. Yeah, and his people. Uh, they attacked me directly, and his people were trying to run games on Linux, and they were saying that Linux was the things they were saying about Linux people. That nobody uses Linux. You have to be an archaic, ancient dinosaur to use the command line. And I was like, how clueless can these people be? It was bad, and so I started writing about it, and he put me on the screen, and he and his buddy that he was streaming with, he came into my chat and actually rescinded the whole thing I was writing about him being a shill and everything, and actually patched it up pretty good with his other buddy. What's his buddy? So anyway, um, I'm sorry I overreacted because I have a history with that guy. He's probably a wonderful guy, but he has an agenda. His agenda is make as much money as possible selling product for IT. Luke. Yeah, Luke is the one that I talked to. Yep. Linux Fest Northwest. Is that a thing? Well, we need to put all the Linux Fests here. First of all, those need to be listed. Sorry for the flashbang, by the way. Uh, can't help it. It's kind of just a thing, and that happens. You guys know you can do hyperlinks in here, right? I'm going to show you. You can do hyperlinks. You can even use the graphic if you want. Just put the URL. And then you can preview it. Pretty cool, right? Can I edit this? I can. What is this called? Is this called, SoCal? Damn, that's got to be a big event. California's got big events. I might want to go to one of these this summer, actually, because while I'm over here, before I move, I would love to like do a road trip down there. It would cost nothing. I could sleep in my car. That's what whenever I go to these things, I sleep in my car to save money usually. I'm thinking this one's this weekend. When is the next one? Is there something else? We need to put some conferences on the list in Pasadena. Rain's let us back when he's going to wrong to live streams. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. And I was roasting the shit out of him because I was like, this is inappropriate. The people there was this massive fight happening in chat war happening on Twitch between Linux people and gamers. And these gamers were ripping the shit out of the Linux people, making fun of them, being personal, attacking them, and it was ugly. It was so ugly. I was like, I'm sure there's no evidence of that anywhere because, you know, Shadow has been coming. Can you go post it, Alpaca? Alpaca, can you help me out and go post it? Take a moment. It wouldn't take too long. I had to take two Benadryl. My throat was closing up. Yeah, and I've got some sort of an ice water thing happening. That's actually I have a orange blueberry smoothie to kind of calm my throat down. They kind of shut down. People believe you're a dinosaur. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, I know. It's definitely a cultural difference. The problem with it is when they get that kind of thinking. The reason you're seeing me stream again instead of like doing my own thing is because somebody needs to counter the tide of idiocy out there about all of this. And if good people and veterans don't put content out and people who actually have jobs and who set you straight about what it's really about instead of making, you know, hyperbolic claims and pumping up, whatever kind of drama and all of that people do and making a really great thumbnail, you know, it's like Mr. Beast's approach to getting a tech job, right? There needs to be a voice of reason out there, even if that voice is a little bit old and grumpy. And I'm going to try to do that more. So, anyway, what I'm specifically looking for is a job fair. You know, the Open Hockey Center is one of the last in the world, really. Interesting. No, they're not. They're in the business of promoting their own YouTube videos. And I don't care about that. My only reason for promoting and marketing is because I want people to realize the truth about how to get a job as I see it. And that's the main thing that I care about. So anyway, we need to find a link to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you enough today to stay healthy? Am I living in a place of shelter? Do I have access to a place to use a computer and learn in a safe environment? I actually am specifically thinking about somebody that I have helped. And when I write this, uh, uh, next year. So if you can't, I want to get a $100,000 slurm job. How about you start by getting a house or, you know, oh, Blaze Bits. Hey, good to see you, man. I had you on my 60-inch Fire TV the other day with your beard. You were stroking your glorious beard. I used to have one. If you look at the old pictures of me, if you look at the old pictures of me, I had a beard that was about as long as yours, and I got tired of it. I think yours is great. Keep going, buddy. Oh yeah, I have my fidget spinners right here. I got one of these fidget spinner rings. It's kind of fun. Yeah, it's like a ring that you can like it's literally a fidget spinner because I think I am a little bit ADD or ADHD. I don't know. I'm not diagnosed. Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've watched you for a while, but I don't I'm getting back into streaming again because it's my way of dealing with all the shit in the world. As long as we don't talk about it on stream. We got kind of sucked into politics recently. It's kind of hard not to. We were talking about we've been talking for those of you who don't know. By the way, do I have mods today? Someone shout out PlaysBits, please. If we haven't had somebody shout you out yet, I'm super sorry. My mods are asleep. Most of my mods are IRL mods. They're not tech mods. I do IRL streaming and content as well as tech content, and my IRL mods are kind of on the ball, and they're not here right now. Hey Max, hack the planet. It's so funny that you say hack the planet because that was a running joke. I've been streaming for what, 6 years now, and the first year I was gonna get into security. I just told this story actually, just barely. I actually started Twitch streaming because I started a school teaching tech for kids and adults, and that's what I'm doing again. The Beginner Boost started today, by the way, everybody. I'm gonna put a plug in for that. Please go to, in fact, I'm gonna pin it. Uh, GitHub.com boost. So this is a beginner boost. I've done it for like 5 years in a row. It's kind of my answer to not teaching it in person. So I did a big old 3 hour video today, and I'm like working on it. We have a container engine you can use. So my focus primarily uh, on Twitch, the way I got started and everything, is these days is to help absolute beginners um, get a tech career. And we're talking about people who barely know what a terminal even is. They've never even seen one except for those memes of hacking. And I took my retirement money out in 2013. I started a company because my scouts and everybody was asking me to teach them hack, teach them code. And I ended up creating a company to do this. And I worked full time at the same time until I was able to get off that job. And then COVID, everything hit, and I had to switch. And someone told me to start streaming. And so then I started streaming originally stuff like this. I thought I wanted to change jobs and go into security. And actually, because I know you're a security guy, I want to mention this before all your people leave because they will probably already have. But uh, I was streaming my prep for OSCP, and I had like 400 or 500 people in the stream. Everybody wanted to hack. I had transparent background. I'd wear a hoodie. I was like all into the whole streaming thing. And I'm pretty boring now because I'm all about getting a tech job. And which, by the way, I got through Twitch. I got my current job making way north of 6 figures by Twitch. I met a guy on Twitch, ended up getting a job for a company I would never thought of. So I've been talking about that a lot recently. Anyway, so I was doing OSCP prep and I was looking at the cost. I'm like, this is the one to get. Look at companies that I might want to work for, F Society, government, all that. Also evaluated the WGU certificate for cybersecurity, which if you don't know about that, you definitely need to look at that. I think everybody should look at the Western Governors University program for cybersecurity, which is, you know, specifically designed for more of the mainstream conservative security jobs for government and corporations and stuff like that. It includes over 600 certifications in it, and you pay for it by the amount of time. So if you want to work really hard, you can cram through it faster, and you get a bachelor's of cybersecurity. So, and you get placement with like all these, government agencies. If that's your thing, you want to do it. It's only in America. It's called W Western. I was super skeptical of it. I had a mom ask me, her kid had just got out of college and was trying to decide what to do because they couldn't get a job. Sound familiar, right? And so I evaluated it with him, and I went through WGU with him while he was doing all of his courses and everything. I was like, damn, this is good. It's an accredited university, just like Stanford and anything, even though it's fully remote, 100% remote. In fact, to this day, I know I'm, kind of on the downside of my career, but I've thought about still getting one. It's pretty cool. No such agency as ours recruiting. I don't know about that. I can't speak to that specifically. I just know that they are a, the reason, like, especially if you're into cybersecurity, I wouldn't recommend any of the other, they have a computer science degree, which is bullshit. In fact, there's a guy who did an entire video of going through the computer science thing where they teach software development, and he didn't even code at all during the whole thing. He was like, but he got the job. He got an entire degree. He made a whole YouTube video about it, series about it, and he only slept every 2 nights, and he paid $3,000 for a bachelor's degree, accredited university in cybersecurity, and he did it in 6 months. And he didn't sleep. He was a mechanic. He was just a brilliant mechanic. If you ever get a chance to see his video, it's really crazy. I have to find that for you. Anyway, so I thought I wanted to be a security professional. I've been hacking my whole life. I have lots of stories about hacking people and catching hackers and setting up honeypots for fun. Uh, and I ended up uh, giving up my pursuit of hacking. I actually lost a lot of people in my stream. They're pissed off because they had joined me to like go on this journey to become a hacker with me. And I had during COVID, this is a true story. During COVID, I had the owner of a cybersecurity company uh, claim to be. I mean, there's no way to validate that. Who was in a hospital bed, and he was actually hacking the hospital. He was talking about everything, and he knew his stuff. He knew what he was talking about. So he'd have to have been a really good troller or whatever. And he's the one who told me, he's like, look, man, he's like, 52% of this job is Microsoft Word. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, if you think you're going to be writing code all the time and creating 0 days and cashing in and doing all of that, he says that's not the job. Most of the cybersecurity jobs are super duper boring. You're writing reports, you're writing software somebody else wrote, and you're just putting it all in the document and sending it on its way. That's your job. And I was like, damn, I don't want that job. So I changed, and I kept my operations and system development engineer job. And well, his position was that, okay, red teamers are breaking in, but the 9 to 5 cybersecurity job is not you red teaming all the time. It's you running Metasploit against the target and writing a report. So if I were to ever go into cybersecurity, because I love to code and stuff, I would go into 0 day. I wouldn't do bug bounty because that's getting taken over by AI. Um, yeah, I would do bug bounty. I would probably do some 0 day stuff. But the biggest thing I think I would really love is forensics. And forensics takes a tremendously large amount of time because you really got to understand low-level architecture to do forensics. And there's tons of really awesome jobs being the CSI Miami of hacking, right? I think I could really, really get into forensics if I was going to do it. But when I learned that most jobs in the cybersecurity tech, including Red Team, are, that's right, most jobs in cybersecurity are actually just running software or AI and then writing a report and then presenting your report. So kind of like that arc of the Mr. Robot series, which is hands down my favorite out of all the hacking things. When he works for Evil Corp and he has to present about how to improve their security, and he's wearing khakis and everything. I love it. So the mystique. Actually turns out that what I really wanted to do is spend a lot of time on the command line, making big things happen, and that's so I ended up staying with high performance computing and SysDE, systems development engineer. When I'm not writing Go, Bash, or Python, these days Perl, I'm writing a lot of Perl to support old systems and migrate them, modernize them. Uh, I'm, writing YAML. I'm a YAML coder. It's like a running joke. You're a DevOps, you're a cloud engineer. Oh, you mean you're a YAML programmer? It's all you do. Just live your whole days and even with them, the reduced admin work is still there. Yeah. What if you manage to hack the bank and fleece them? Well, that's a totally different thing. That was another thing I realized though. I can still continue to hack for fun, and I do. I can't talk about a lot of the stuff I've done because it was illegal. I don't know how much you can talk about on the stream. I'll tell you one. I didn't. It wasn't even a hack. Okay, so I have a lifetime account on Shodan.io. Does everybody know about that? Blaze, do you know about that? I'm sure you know about that. Shodan.io. Who doesn't know about it? I have a lifetime account over here, and I mean it's not even hacking, right? Yeah, dude. People on this. So if you have not seen the Cyber War series, you should buy that with Ben. What's his name? He got put in jail for making that series. Cyber War. It's Cyber War from that now defunct edgy journalism. What was it called? It's really good. It's a little bit dated, but they talk about Shodan.io. You can go there. You can actually access the PBCs or the PBCs for a dam. It was completely open. It was unsecured, and that dam had a history of flooding over the last 10 years, like randomly. And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like somebody randomly found a dam, like, internet access exposed. It's insane. You can like we randomly on stream. It's not illegal to do this. On stream, we randomly joined random kids' Minecraft servers. We just go in there and say hi. Hey, what's up? They're like, hey, welcome. How did you find us? Well, you're on Shodan.io. You might want to look at your security a little bit. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I got grandfathered in. I have a lifetime. I'm not telling you my account though. That's no, hell no. Oh my God, so we've been hacked. Yeah. And then there was another person. I was actually sitting next to my wife. This is a fun one. I'm divorced now. I'll never forget. I was sitting. She was reading a book, and I was sitting next to her with my laptop hacking, and and I and I randomly came across a guy who had remote desktop active, and it's RWX Rob. It's RW lol underscore X Rob. Yeah, kind of. Uh, you could get one of those kids. And so I accessed this guy. This guy had his entire remote desktop available on the internet. Like, and I can't remember if it was a super easy password or if it was no password. But I like turned my laptop. I was a Linux laptop that at that time. I turned my Linux laptop to my wife. I said, "Look, honey," and it was like, "What?" She's like, "What?" It was like, "Yeah, I'm on some random guy's computer desktop." Oh, it's so funny. It was in India. The guy was in India somewhere. Yeah. And then I was looking at his family pictures. I was like looking up his family pictures and stuff. And my wife was like, what the fuck? It was so bad. It's not even hacking. It's not even hacking. It was like, oh, hey, your computer's accessible on the internet, and I happen to find you. It was hilarious. Oh my God, it was so funny. Oh, yeah. I actually caught a guy who hacked me and I hacked him back and reported him. That was a fun one. That was in 2000. I was in Tucson when that happened. I actually called the police. I called the police when I got hacked and I said, hey, I've been hacked. What do you want to do? And they said, has there been more than $500 damage? I said, no, as far as I know. And they said, I'm sorry, sir, there's nothing we can do. I said, are you telling me that you're not going to investigate this or do anything? And they said, I'm sorry, sir, no. And I said, well, what if I do? And they said, we can't speak to that. I'm like, okay, good night, goodbye. And I hacked the shit out of him. I tried to do the right thing. I actually found his rootkit. I found his rootkit. Yeah, I found him because I have a tripwire on my system. I wrote my own tripwire, and I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys how to write a tripwire. This is one of my favorite hacking stories of all time. It was so fun. I could not sleep for days. I was having so much fun. So he had hacked me through vulnerability. I was running my own mail server and stuff. And thank you for the ball. He had hacked me uh, by using whatever vulnerability it was, and I caught him immediately with Tripwire. He had something. I think he set up like everybody. He set up under proc. No, it was under dev, not proc. Proc's dynamic, of course. He set up under dev for that Tripwire. Yeah. So there's actually a Tripwire application, and they went all corporate now. And you can I think it was running the old open source version. I don't even know if you can still get it. You can actually write a Tripwire in like a day, half day, like an hour. It's not hard. Uh, and I had Tripwire running on my main servers, and I got the page, and I was like, oh, "What's going on?" And I looked at the report, and sure enough, this guy had set up a root's nest, a rat's nest inside of my slash dev, and he had something X. It was like TTY X, not TTY. It was something else. Um, and it was all there. It was all available to see. He'd already Trojan my LS so that I couldn't list it, but that's easy to defeat with find. So nobody ever Trojans find. They Trojan LS because they think everybody's stupid. So I just ran find. You can write Tripwire with find. Honestly, honest to God, research how to do find, run find on your system, create an exceptions list so you're not putting too many logs and stuff in there. You're good to go. And you just look at your report every day and see what new things come up. If you want, you can write it. You can associate an alert when you have stuff pop up that is unusual. Like this file should not have changed or I didn't install anything on this machine. And that's how I found it. So I saw it there and I was like looking around in the rootkit and everything. And then I tracked how he got there, what port he came in on and everything. And uh, so I saw where he came from. I saw the IP he came from. And that I was like, I wonder if this IP. And I looked up the IP. The IP was of a computer in. It was at a university. It was the people that make SSH actually. Well, I can't remember the name. I want to say Purdue, but I can't remember. So I made a mistake, and I thought that was it. I thought the IP was, was the thing. Here's the fun part. So I just randomly tried to hack him back. And I was like, I wonder if he has the same rootkit on this machine. So sure enough, I telnetted or netcat, I can't remember which one, straight to that same port that he'd come in on, and I was on with root. And I was like, what the hell? No password, nothing. And so he'd opened up, and I got looking around, I found the web files on that machine, everything was a web server, and it was this frat bro, this football guy, holding beer and his, stuff. I found all of his web, everything, and he was clearly just a student at the university, and I was like, there is no way this guy is a hacker. I mean, he was kind of a script kiddie, but I was like, I don't think this is it. And so I kept looking on that machine. That machine, the rest of us had been really fully realized. Mine hadn't. He was building it at the time. And everything was really, really well done. So you could tell it was one of his jump points, his gateway host to get to other things. And so I sat on that machine for a while and I watched the incoming connections on there. And there was one time we were both on the system at the same time. Yeah, it kind of gives me the chills. And I, for whatever reason, he didn't see I was there. And I mean, it would have been, I missed an opportunity there because I could have like end talked to him or something. And I could have actually started chatting with him like randomly. I could have walled him and I could have like scared the shit out of him, right? But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find out who this hacker was or whatever. But then it was really obvious it wasn't the guy that owned the server. So then I saw, okay, he came out of this port from this other IP and did the same thing again. And I connected to a machine in Amsterdam or Germany someplace. I can't remember. I think it was Germany because ultimately I reported it. And they said, "We dunking you," and basically there was this email in some poor language from the ISP that said they had identified the person, and in this foreign country. So, and actually, I before I knew the frat bro wasn't the hacker, I reported that guy to uh, his department head of the college, And I called and I just emailed this. And I said, you have people hacking from your computers, and which is stupid. You should never do that. Don't ever, 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 ever tell a company or an organization about a hack that you've discovered under any circumstances, even if you mean well, because their embarrassment is all they care about. And they have no guarantee that you're not an actual hacker. So they will come after you. Just ask Randall Schwartz. He was convicted of hacking by running Jack the Ripper on a password file while I was on a consulting gig. True story. Go look it up. Same Randall. It was a whole thing back in 97. So anyway, I mean, it was a Wild West back then. Nothing was secure. Nothing was encrypted. Telnet, FTP, WSFTP had a vulnerability in it for like 10 years that went undetected because they got the binary to pass the checksum detection generation, which is absolutely brilliant. Anyway, so I hacked it. I found out he had this other system and reported it to this foreign address. I looked up who owned the IP over in Europe, and I reported it to them, and they sent me a big thank you note back that I didn't understand any of it. But it sounded like from the note that they got a hold of the guy. So I won't lie, I really like all that stuff, but I guess the moral of the story is it's just as fun to hack for fun. You know, if that's what you want to do, I would rather write. I'm writing a book right now, and go out rock climbing or whatever, uh, than hack. So I'm not really into it. Uh, I've had Twitch people say things in my. I had one Twitch streamer who shall remain anonymous. You guys can try to figure out who it is. But there was a Twitch streamer who still streams who created a list of hacker streamers on Twitch. And some of my people from my beginners program approached them and wrote a PR against the list on GitHub to add me to the list. And the guy fucking roasted me on the thing, saying that I wasn't a hacker, that I hadn't done anything, that I was just a waste of time, nobody should ever watch me. And he put all of that in the PR. And I was like, you motherfucker. I was like, really? And I was like, I don't have to prove myself to you. Give me your IP. Oh, I know. Better than that. Hey, here's my IP. Wink, wink, honeypot in the. So it was really funny. I don't know. This is kind of fun talking about all this stuff. I kind of miss it a little bit. Not gonna lie. Debugging, deep compiling were get kept back then. Nobody wanted to share those things. Yeah. Days of wares, cracking software was reputation. Hell yeah. So I'm gonna pass out any second here because I took that Benadryl. I will never tell you who that person was. I don't believe in building drama. I've had too much drama with other Twitch streamers. All my regulars know I've had drama. And most of the time it wasn't drama I created. Usually it's because I poked good-natured fun in Gen X fashion at other streamers by making fun of their bouncy ball or their or that web developers are not real coders, which obviously is not true. Yeah, my Gen Xness has offended a lot of people. And so yeah, I'll if either a border job or just being ignorant at all. Everybody knows who it is. Yeah, I got entirely canceled for making a meme about. Do you guys know? Um, what's the Silicon Valley? You watch Silicon Valley? Prime and I are good buddies now. I don't watch the stream much, but he and I are it's all ancient history at this point. Yeah, Prime and I just have a totally different style. That's all. You know. You hate Big Head? So I actually deleted the pic. I might have had the photo somewhere. Everybody, this is a fun little story. So everybody was beating me up in my own Twitch chat, distracting me from my coding or whatever I was doing. No kidding. Don't do this, by the way. If you're a Twitch person watching Twitch, don't go into somebody's channel, not even read the room about what they're doing, and randomly start soliciting for anything. That's just not cool. I don't care how well intended you are, right? So I got bombarded with people. So they created this software and game dev category. Yeah, we're hashtag science and tech bros, right? And they created this new category, which I think some of the people who ended up in the category had a lot to do with. There was a lot of behind the scenes Twitch interaction going. A lot of Twitch streamers they either worked, I'm not going to say names, but they either worked for Twitch or they know people at Twitch, right? In fact, I think Twitch added me to their blackball list. I didn't have the courage to look through their source code that they got hacked because it would have violated my ability to do anything. Looking at compromised code is like a big problem for somebody in the industry because you're tainted. I didn't want to look at it, but I think I might have been blackballed. But anyway, so all these, I think, well-meaning people came into my Twitch stream and they started saying things like, "Why aren't you in software and game dev? You're doing software. You're writing code. Why are you not in that thing?" And I said, "Because I don't want to be in that category. I like science and tech better. My stream is more about science and technology. This is where hacking and actual science is happening." And like, yeah, but the software and game dev category was literally created for you. It was created for you. What are you doing? You're being ungrateful. What the hell? Why are you doing this? And they would start attacking me. I'm not even kidding. I had people come in and they would pick fights with my community, and then I was like, who the hell are these people? And then to get back at it, because I was kind of jaded by it, I started on stream. I started watching Science and Tech, which I'm tempted to do right now, and I would look at all the things that are going on in there, and I was like, oh, another game developer. Oh, another thing here, another, you know, another. Somebody's playing around with some other useless language, and this person's making this game about this. This person's making, and I love game development. I taught game development. I taught game development for 3 years. So, you know, it's like I'm not against any of that. I just thought it was really weird that these people would pick would be so abusive and weird to me in my chat. So I started, in Gen X fashion, I started teasing them. I was like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not in the right category, right? And I was like, yeah, one day I want to grow up and be a web developer, and which I was. That's how I got into the career. I became. People don't know this. I was making jokes about myself, but they got offended, man. Oh God. And then I slammed on Rust, which I have an entire. I have to show you. They made an entire Reddit post about me. Reddit, Rust, RWXRob. So back to Go. Rust is slow. R programming. So this is the thing. Algebraic trace, blah blah blah. Rust is slow. He speaks the truth. No, this is not the one though. Oh my God, look at my light. Hey, my beard, Blaze. I got a beard like you in this one almost. Anyway, add front teeth. And so anyway, people catch his strays on being a web dev. I was just teasing, but nobody likes. There's something about, I don't know why people don't like being teased. So I was teasing. I was like, yeah, web devs, yeah. Why don't you just? Oh, you can't do it. Yeah. You got a skills issue. Yeah, might want to consider web dev as a career. I would make jokes. They're jokes. They're jokes, people. They're jokes. I love you. I love you. I was a web dev. I think it's incredibly hard to be a web dev, especially React. But I have to be super careful now because when I make jokes, people get pissed and they'll clip me out of context and stuff. Ripping on Rust. I know, right? So I was just teasing, and all of a sudden I got totally canceled by the whole category. Everybody in the category went against me. They all did, and they all canceled me. Like longtime people that aren't streaming anymore, who were supportive, some of them were educators and everything. All of a sudden I was blocked in their stream. I would go in there and I was like, I got totally canceled. They wouldn't even let me chat. A number of them are still that way. I was also ripping on NeoVim at the time, which I use daily now. Uh, and again, it was mostly good nature, but I would say things like, "Man, you have to be a moron to use NeoVim" or something. I didn't mean it, but I would sometimes I did, sometimes or Emacs, you make jokes about it. And so the moral of the story is don't make jokes. Don't make jokes at other people's expense. So yeah, don't learn Rust. I built this, yeah. So they can't. I mean, they got really offended and stuff that were hot takes. Yeah, I got rid of them. Big Panties is still there. Yeah, if you're gonna do that kind of thing, you should do it with your immediate friends. The other thing too is that I come from the Linux community and I'm Gen X, and the Linux community is the most toxic thing on the planet. Go into an IRC and ask a question about something that was posted in the back. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Go in an IRC Linux for Hacker Chat and ask a question that's already been answered in an FAQ someplace that's posted to the IRC. I know, right? It, you think so. I come from a generation thought it was okay to put your fist through drywall in an office to make your point. That actually happened. It's not okay. It's not okay. I'm telling you, it's not okay right now. RTFM, oh my God. Yeah. Or go to any Linux convention, which, by the way, plug for Linux conventions. Uh, please join the discussion group. If you know of a good place to meet for conferences and to get a job, especially job fairs, I'm specifically interested in people posting job fairs. I used to go to these in the 90s all the time, and they're harder to find these days. But there are companies that get a booth and they want to hire you, and people that are looking for jobs are looking for better jobs. They go there and they walk around, and they're the stars of the party because they're potentially the next big thing. So, uh, coming here and post, SoCal Linux Expo, Southeast Linux Fest, Linux. But I'm saying this because if you want to get a good dose of you know Linux vibe, like Linux person vibe, go to one of these things. You'll see. People have very, very, very few social skills. They not all of them, and they'll hit you hard. The trans people have the most social skills, and I'm going to say something that's factual. There are a lot of trans people in the Linux community. A lot. In fact, my trans daughter got into Linux because it was a trans thing. Those are her words. So it's crazy. Anyway, there's lots of it. Yeah. Anyway, you can go post your job for there if you want to. Thank you for joining all of you guys from BlazeBits. I'm actually gonna probably wrap up my stream here pretty soon too. I'm gonna finish up this point I'm making. I'm writing about what we covered in the beginner boost today. The video's on YouTube. You can go find it if you want to go watch it. But today was largely about understanding what you want to do, who you are, what you want to do every day, and then moving on from there. Uh, yeah, you should crash. Blaze, thank you so much for hanging around this long. I raid and run because I'm usually so tired. So if you ever need to raid and run, you just leave, dude. I will not think anything bad. And I might do that to you. Because I totally get how it is. You're totally exhausted, and now you gotta like talk to the person you just raided. Like, I don't want to. But raiding is fun because you get to meet new people. I met a lot of sometimes I'll raid people outside of the category. Yeah, I raid software people. By the way, I stream to software a lot. Like if I'm coding in Bash or Go or something, I'll do that. So all right, guys. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna finish writing here. A new submission command. Streamer bot for the Wednesday night streams. Oh, cool. You might like this command I just made called retitle. I'm gonna show you a fun little thing I just made yesterday. Vibe coded it in Bash. So it's retitle. retitle, smile, thanks for the raid, Blaze. So, and this pops up my YouTube authentication, my OAuth authentication. So that I can update my YouTube thing. I wish it didn't have to do it every time. It does though. And now I have that changes the overlay at the top. You can see it at the top. It changes my GitHub status, my YouTube title, and my Twitch title all at the same time. I know, right? Well, here's the better thing. When I wrote a WebSocket thing that listens to recordings, and when I end a recording, it changes the anonymous or the name of the file to match the slug of my title, so that I can upload it. So I hit record and make little videos, and then when I stop recording, it renames the video so that I can just batch upload those to YouTube. It's cool. As a streamer, I think you might like it. So I'll let you take a look at that someday. It's under retitle. Thanks for the raid. And then we have my Twitch title, which is changed. Thanks for the raid. And then YouTube got changed too. So I'm the only thing it doesn't change is Facebook. I can't figure the API for that one out. Oh god, you're gonna see all my stuff that I watch. Slash RBX Rob. Yeah, so see. Oh wait, it didn't change that one. Huh. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to do that again. It's gonna say I already have it. Yeah. All right, I can actually, watch. I can do dash if I want to set back the previous one. And now it'll set everything back to the previous one. Yeah, and then the reason is because I have a bug. When I had to authenticate to YouTube, it didn't change it. So that means it's not proceeding, it's exiting. And I need to fix that. But I can do this and go back. Since I'm authenticated, I didn't have to re-authenticate. That should actually have done it. So if I refresh, it should be there. Yep, there we go. Thanks for the raid, Blaze. So it changes the current status everywhere. I know this. Oh, right. So one day we coded this. We didn't vibe. You actually might like this one. This uses FFmpeg to play whatever, and I have like a million like clips, and it will download the YouTube clip, store the clip, and then access the specific spot in time in the database. We wrote this in a day with my friends, and there's your planet one. Oh wait, I gotta download Hack the Planet. Fuck, I actually have a Hack the Planet. Damn it, it's not on. The Hack the Planet because I don't have the videos downloaded. Yeah, it would take me a bit to download that video. Yeah, Planet. I have to actually probably redo that one. I would. Yeah. Shit. Stop Twitter shit. I'm gonna make it so the chat can turn these on, but it's not there right now. So that. And then. It's a Unix system. Please clap. Have you met Ted? We have a guy who's named Ted here. My Hack the Planet's not working. I gotta get that to work like right now. Yeah, if you want this is in. Where is this? This is batch code. I did not vibe code this. I actually coded this shit. Home movies, clips, config data clip. My type of fever. Oh wait, Lobot. That's what I look like when I put headphones on. Stupid. I need to download them all. Smoking Hot Wife. I'm divorced now. I don't know if it exists. It's gonna be, we'll have to see. Get on with it. Jalopy loves this one. Get on with it. God, which ones are down there? I gotta download them all. I wanna go get them again. Oh, that's like your opinion, man. Oh God, why do I not have that one? Enough for why you can, monkey boy. Wait, what? Oh God. Oh, I know, I love them all. Oh, oh, oh. So these are like full-size videos, and it just grabs a little clip out of it because of the database. So, DL download MVP. Oh, MPV is a player. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was FFmpeg. It's not. It uses FFmpeg to play it. We use key on, key off, detect pendoc, commands, usage play, lists, data, edit. That's it. That's it. That's it. This is using my Bonsai library. Actually, it's not using Bonsai. It was using a version of Bonsai that is shell only. I got to keep that around because I want to reproduce that. That's what gives you. That's why you can do tab completion. It uses tab completion. Uses dash C. Complete dash C. Super cool. So you can make your own tab completion. Yeah, let's go get. What was I gonna do? Oh, edit. Okay, here's the files. Right. Uh, I can't remember how to get it. I think I just have to download the file. It used to. You know what? Somebody made a hack to this, and I never added it. It does it that automatic. There it is. Oh, I started to port it to Golang. That's what happened. I think Ray. Who was it who submitted the download of the clips thing? There's like a branch. That's working bash version. Status changes. Get status. Oh, data. I changed the data file. Oh shit. I wasn't Melum. No, it was somebody else. They got it. They added a command so I can populate all the cache with one command. And if that's not here, I'm going to add it right now because that way I can download all the clips in one shot. So git stash, git switch, main, git stash, pop. They're so fun in scripts, right? Yeah, you can put them. Yeah, we wrote that thing in Bash pretty quickly. Oh, there it is right there. This is the entire command. The false assignment may cause DOS due to globbing. No, it won't. I should probably look that up. Oh, I have to quote it. How about that? I'll do that. I'll make shell check happy. Okay, so clip utility is a bash script. So this gets run through pandoc. I love this script. This is when I was seriously into bash. I was in the middle of converting all my bash code to Perl. I think I'm changing my mind back again. Carol Burnett just came on. The identifier is the same. Well, I want to do Hack the Planet, so every time Blaze visits now, every time Blaze visits, I'm going to play Hack the Planet. Return to Dust, that's his name. Return to Dust would say Hack the Planet every time he would come in my stream, every single time. If Return to Dust is not popped into Blaze's stream, we need to get them over there. It's fate. So this uses a number of cool techniques in Bash. This just makes me like Bash again. I mean, I like Perl. Perl is so fucking awesome. So is Bash. I made a big stink. I made a video about switching all my Bash scripts to Perl. But whatever. Prefer map file to read data split. Go to avoid splitting. I don't know about that. So every time I edit a shell script, every time I save it reformats it using shell format, and it runs shell check anytime I make any edit whatsoever. So I'm able to see inline all the problems that shell check would show you. I have this at work too. It's like people see me share my screen on this and they're like, what the hell? They're like, why are you not doing that? Perl does not have the same. It's actually harder to write a Perl script for me because there's no auto formatting that I don't have it set up anyway. I might actually have to set that up. I don't have auto formatting, linting. They call it a fixer in Vim. It's called a fixer. It automatically redoes the stuff. This is all the completion delegation stuff. There's the help. List format file. Add. It's not that complicated. Base. Excuse me. Bases unused. Oh, I'll probably get rid of that. I love it. That's it. That's the only place. I must have used it before I got rid of it. I love that. That does not happen in Perl. The tools for editing Bash are way more powerful than Perl. You can't unit test Bash though, except for Prove. Prove lets you run unit tests against Perl. You can't do that with Bash. Not easily. I'm gonna ask my AI. There is a test framework. I know this because there's a what is the site to learn coding? There's a site for learning coding through testing. And it does all this stuff. It's a Perl Prove type. Yeah, it's tap. That's it, tap. It's tap. Bats. Bats is the one. That's the one I know. There's a code learn to code place that's pretty, it doesn't cover everything. I put it that way. So bats, you write at tests. At is a valid name identifier. Crazy, right? Add test additional work. Simple good ecosystem. POSIX only, not bash. Oh shit. Most advanced shell system framework. Describe math. It add numbers on call, blah blah blah. Works for POSIX shell. Super good. Cool. All right, I have to take a break. All right. I should have a branch here. Oh, my phone's telling me to go to bed. It looks like it was just a formatting change. I must have done this when I had shell format set up. So I was just formatting all of it. Oh, that's interesting. Did I pop my stuff back in? Oh, they changed the developers one. Bro. Bro. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Did I break everything? I hope not. Clips. Clip old. Oh, shit. Source file target directory. Do, 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 do. Damn it. Oh shit, I turned I I turned Keycaster on. I think I put that in the new version. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. Yes, this other one is not okay. I'm sorry. This was when I was back when I was using something to besides NeoMem for the stuff at the top. Type key after yeah. All right, how did I download it? Where did that PR go? There it is, Russum. I should review this PR. I think a lot of stuff changed. I don't think we use UTBL anymore. You said UP. Huh. I think I just have to add again. We need to add a download function. All this stuff is here for it. This here is it right there. All right. Ah, God damn it, Rob. I see to cash it. All right. Wait, what? Oh. Oh. Well, not quite rocket science. Benadryl's finally kicking in. Oh, seriously? Is it just that? Damn. Mhm.